Such daily craps, like a horoscope, synchronize the feelings, how functional systems midway curve until past internalized bowel mulches flesh, pours into the heartfelt places, susceptible to psychosomatic illness, puffiness. Practice using herbs and lotions. Puffiness calcifies the skin's breath. Asthma is crap, still psychically undigested. Benign places where you suffer sudden stress feeling and atavistic stiffness hammer flesh to an ancient something. We have a technical problem. Oh, it's fixed. Practice using herbs and lotions. Puffiness calcifies the skin's breath. Asthma is crap, still psychically undigested. Benign places where you suffer sudden stress feeling and atavistic stiffness hammer flesh to an ancient bone and a bad back curves. Negative socialization stymies sleep, curves sally to crip walk, toothsomeness to puffiness, self-enfolding lumps of riddled flesh, bulk beneath shy lids, sleeps a crap shoot in a puzzled welter, feeling stiffen like chess pawns in the wrong places. Acknowledge the health burdens, angst places, in between dolor and the daily curves. Murphy's Law, throwing sobriety to feeling, if judgment intervenes, hives, cancer, puffiness. The apocalypse's four horsemen coming crap all over a calm facade. Death is inherent in the flesh. And death's mode in bad times is bruised flesh, softening slowly in the wrong places. Listless fatigue leaves crap, crust, putrefying the toilet rim. Meals skipped, curveball self-implode memory, sock sacrifice. Puffiness is generic putty. Enthusiasm low, no feeling. Cut the crap, feed the flesh, avoid blackouts. Because honestly speaking, there's sudden relief. Taking a shower allows one-shot self-analysis, less urgent care than homing in on memory lapses. Finish tasks, scrub the tub, walk the dog, tip the jar, round the curves, round the curves. Struggle with memory against forgetting to see. Eye strain, a feeling of puffiness in places. Beware, struggle with memory against forgetting to flush. Thank you, and now we have Now Jasmine is going to lay some poetry on us.
I'm celebrating two of my favorite female poets, women, the beautiful Sonia Sanchez and Poet Laureate Joy Harjo. I'm going to start with Sonia, who I met in Philadelphia. Beautiful woman and the absolute mistress of the haiku. So this one is called Memory Haiku. I was born a three-legged black child, carrying an extra leg for quick departures. Beneath the sun, I moved in short Birmingham breaths. Silence of the house in the kitchen, someone washes the floor. Silence. No words. Just the sound of earthquakes. Precocious morning, releasing an avalanche of blood. In the hospital, mother, you chanted complex half moons? What is this about childbirth that women ask for seconds? How long the night to break your body into a diabetic coma? How wild the gust of blood running down hospital corridors? Do women make a living singing? Death prints? In my dreams, I rubbed your limbs until they sparkled. Wherever I am, I patrol your seasonal death. I bring you pine trees and laughter for your journey. Do you hear me singing in the mountains? Under a constant sky? I, a passerby to your death, cradle your breath. I, a sleepwalker to dreams, imagine you, a crane flying south. Every day, I hear your voice beyond the hills. This next poem is by Joy Harjo, and I remember the first time when I picked up this book and my hands just went to this, and it struck me immediately. It is a lesson for how to conduct our lives. This is entitled "For Calling the Spirit Back from Wandering the Earth in Its Human Feet." Put down that bag of potato chips, that white bread, that bottle of pop. Turn off that cell phone, computer, and remote control. Open the door and then close it behind you. Take a breath offered by friendly winds. They travel the earth, gathering essences of plants to clean. Give it back with gratitude. If you sing, it will give your spirit lift to fly to the stars' ears and back. Acknowledge the earth who has cared for you since you were a dream planning itself precisely in your parents' desires. Let your moccasin feet take you to the encampment of the guardians who have known you before time, who will be there after time. They sit before the fire that has been there without time. Let the earth stabilize your post-colonial, insecure jitters. Be respectful of the small insects, birds, and animal people who accompany you. Ask their forgiveness for the harm we humans have brought down upon them. Don't worry. The heart knows the way. Though there may be high-rises, interstates, checkpoints, armed soldiers, massacres, wars, and those who will despise you because they despise themselves. The journey might take you a few hours a day, a year, a few years, 100, 1,000, or even more. Watch your mind. Without training, it might run away and leave your heart for the immense human feast set by the thieves of time. Do not hold regret. When you find your way to the circle, to the fire kept burning by the keepers of your soul, you will be welcome. You must clean yourself with cedar and sage and other healing plants. Cut the ties you have to failure and shame. Let go the pain you're holding in your mind, your shoulders, your heart, all the way to your feet. Let go of the pain of your ancestors to make way for those who are heading in our direction. Ask for forgiveness. Call upon the help of those who love you. These helpers take many forms: animal, element, bird, angel, saint, stone, or ancestor. Call your spirit back. It may be caught in the corners and creases of shame and judgment and human abuse. You must call your spirit in a way that it will want to return. Speak to it as you would a beloved child. Welcome your spirit back from wandering. It may return in pieces, in tatters. Gather them together. They will be happy to be found after being lost for so long. Your spirit will need to sleep for a while after it is bathed and given clean clothes. Now you can have a party. Invite everyone you know who loves and supports you. Keep room for those who have no place to go. Make a giveaway and remember to keep the speeches short. Then you must do this. Their way through the dark. For any spark to make a song, it must be transformed by pressure. There must be unspeakable need, muscle of belief, and wild, unknowable elements. I am singing a song that can only be sung after losing a country. This next one is one of mine, and everybody can relate to this. It's about the blues. We all might call it different things. We call it depression. Say, oh, you need some Prozac. Oh, you might need a shot of vodka. Oh, you might need to smoke some weed. Oh, you might need to pop a pill. Anything to get them blues off of you. But we are blues people. And we're going to feature Mr. Stanley Key on this one. conceived in the passion of stale beer, cigarette butts and smeared red lipstick, runny mascara, calloused hands, and bourbon breath. We float in a womb of salty tears. We are forced through the sleek black thighs, slick and wet, covered in blood, into a world of blues-inducing things. We are one, she and me. Same heart, same spirit, same air, same song, same shit. I turned from B flat to B flat, out cold, swallowed whole by these blues. We live together, sleep together, work together, eat together, cry together, die a little bit, boy, stay together. Woo! You stink. You reek of blues. A bender trying to put an end to it. But damn, girl, you bend them notes so much you almost break up. And then where would you be? You are sad and angry and scared and tired, breaking. You cry, you curse, you hide, breaking behind those blue notes that sound so cool as they spill your life on the pavement in the blue light, one drop at a time. That slippery sound you breathe, sliding between worlds. Woo! So easy. It hurts.
Okay. Now remember the definition I gave y'all earlier. There's pain and oppression, and then there's ecstasy, and between there's lyricism. Now, y'all understand now? Because if you don't understand after that, then y'all are just hopeless. And y'all aren't hopeless, because in the blues, you're never hopeless, actually. That's part of the essence. No matter how hopeless things ostensibly look, your spirit is never hopeless. So I want to read this poem of mine, and I never understand when people say references in my poems can be obscure, because I once read this poem to a group of homeless people, and they understood it completely, without any explanation at all. So I just always wonder how much that's really cultural as opposed to textural. But this poem is called Stranger in a Legal Land. 3 men have lassoed 1 man in an utterly strange, such a strange, still an intractable embrace. 1 man's pupils shimmer darkly as 3 triangulated flashlights intersecting, piercing his immobilized flesh as though he has been fitted 3 apparitional faces. A triptych of rumor and speculations, swaddling clothes enveloping coyly, uncoiling hydras of indeterminate intention. The shadowing of such inarticulate affairs is gray. The status of such indeterminate plans is stand down. The accused stands mid-center like a smudgy emblem, crapola of the realm, chump change, a trashy penny. He stands mid-center like a representation of the prodigal son in Rome. He has wandered from the stone kingdoms, far fields, the rocky provinces, the hinterlands, the counties of lawless pursuits, heavy breathing, loose-lipped legends of lapidary prizes, ancestral reprisals, conflicting stories strung around himself like primitive beads. 3 men impromptu critique one man's dress. Backwardness inherent in his knobby, gnarly haberdashery. Virgins, fork-tongued licks winding up, the loose shirt sleeves, conflicting tails worn around his neck like beads. All right.
This next piece is an homage to our brothers and sisters, red, black, white, brown, yellow, tan, and beige, who have died for the cause of freedom. Emmett Till, Medgar Evers, Mac Parker, Fred Hampton, Schwerner, Goodman, and Cheney, for little girls. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Amadou Diallo, Patrick Dorismond, Sean Bell, Eric Gardner, Alton Sterling, Sandra Bland, Ramali Graham, Tamir Rice, Freddie Gray, Michael Brown, Paul Castaway, Trayvon Martin. Elijah McClain, Breonna Taylor, say her name, Ahmaud Arbery, Rayshard Brooks, Walter Scott, Jason Perot, Philando Castile, Bothram G, Jacob Blake, Dante Wright, Makia Bryant, Terrence Crutchers, Anthony Toledo, George Perry, Floyd.
Thank you, thank you. This mic seems to be working now. Excuse Jasmine for a while. It'll be worth what you'll get when she returns. Did you recognize the last song? It was more or less the tune of Strange Fruit, but obviously the lyrics were changed to the words of black men and women who've been murdered by vigilantes, police, assassins. And continuing that spirit, I'm going to read this poem of mine, which is a tribute to the Black Lives Matter movement. It's Days of Protest. We will not disappear. Like her birth name, like his dead letters, buried inside a sheath after a flash rain, we will not disappear. Death yawns stately, death conjoins us. Whether we make music, noise, love, or bourgeoisie war, free assembly and funeral rites these days, symbiotic, interchangeable, siren sounds, we will not disappear. We proceed like marionettes carried along on one string, crowds of self-same mouths. Our tongues chant now in unison, the pitch like a cracked accordion. Then canticle is cant and cry, and the dead also. They will not disappear. Death conjoins us. The streets indigenously compel us, whether we lay down and recharge, screaming at planned events, protest marches and vigils have become intermarried like a sexual transgression. Death conjoins us. Death pulls back the curtain. Public war, like private mourning, pulls back the curtain. And old law is a heavy, heavy sigh. Its retellings latchkey shibboleth. Blood nurses grief, grief nurses war. And what else is changed to soldiers and mourners? We wear hoodies and chains. Hoodies, sneakers, jerseys, chains, lining the streets carrying placards, banners, and loudspeakers, amplifying Trayvon, Breonna, Eric Garner, Frederick Gray, Philandro Castile, George Floyd, like aggravated parlor ghosts, and sound systems reify the abstractions. Let the crowds inspire regardless belief in eternal secession. Then we seize the streets. Then we seize the streets at noon and night, but dispassionately challenge standard badges of the numinous state. Officers in bright, dark, felt glasses breaking past the front lines berate us. The blue lines aggress. But we seize the streets at night. We amplify, we reify. We amplify using cost-efficient instruments of bulbs, amps, wattage. Crackle and hum breaks daylight monotony. Then we seize the streets at noon and night, like visionary candle wicks afloat on sea and surge. but the sea will never swallow the candle burning brightly. And amplify and reify. Flesh of my physical atrophy, death's indigenous people, shortchanged before destruction, who will not disappear. Like her birth name, like his dead letters, after a flash rain. Thank you. And now we will have a performance piece by Jasmine Williams.
The name of this piece is A Scarred and Splintered Banner. It was conceived in the wee small hours of January 7th, as my mind and spirit were and still are stinging from the events that had just taken place a few hours earlier on the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. The lyrics, except for the first stanza, are the words of the third verse of the National Anthem, written by Francis Scott Key. It is also known as the forgotten verse. The dresses that I wear represent the colors of the four directions and honor the culture of the first people of this land. The sacred handprints were placed directly on my body by beautiful women of different races, creeds, and cultures. For it is the women who are the eternal strength of America. This work was inspired by centuries of oppression and the enduring fight for human rights, culminating in the events of January 6, 2021. I present this work in the spirit of love for our land and our people and our country and our democracy, and our never-ending demand to participate fully in the democracy that is constitutionally promised to all of us who dwell here. Whoa, hey, hey man, did you see what happened today? It made history. Time itself stood still, sorry. January 6, 2021. Date seared into my brain like 9/11. For that was the day that the sun fell out of the sky of democracy, and the stars were scattered amidst the broken glass, all over the smooth, cool marble floor. Centuries-old wood splinters like stripes, hatred simmers in souls that don't even know why. The seductive, elusive democracy, too precious to share, denied from the indigenous on whose stolen, pilfered, plundered ancestral land, built up with denied African hands. This hallowed hall of freedom still majestically stands. take heed quickly of this discourse. A sinister parade of costume buffoons draped in hate garb, red hats, face paint, riot gear, noose and gallows, Confederate flag. Cowering for life, behind benches in nooks, whispered prayers and tearful goodbyes. Tables and chairs. Terror! Hot sticks, fire extinguishers, pipe bombs, zip ties, bear spray, pepper spray, batons, lasers, tasers, American flag, weapons. Goodman deflected the craven mob as electeds were sprinted away. Hero. The very space beneath the dome where Lincoln Parks Lewis and now Sicknick have lain, the very house in which democracy itself sits at the head of the table, defiled. The air inside the citadel, heavy with the smell of tear gas and the lingering stench of trees and crime and murder. Would Key have written such a glorious ode to celebrate this scene of rage and rancor boiling over like putrid stew, spilling down the sides, sullying the mountains, valleys, hills, and plains, oceans, seas, rivers, and streams of kindness, love, and democracy? Vicious and relentless hugs and kisses. Is this America? And where is that band who so vauntingly swore that the havoc of the war and the battle's confusion? This experiment of self-governance, skillfully crafted by the elite 55, now teeters on a razor's edge. Sweet, broken-hearted democracy with all these cracks and fissures that lets the light pour in to show what lies beneath in the dark bowels of this young centuries-old house. The indomitable will of all we, the people whom it allegedly represents. But this punch-drunk democracy must make it out alive, this time and the next. Because there are still debts to be paid. Let's reconcile. Promises to keep. Freedom! Without fear. For freedom must prevail without fear in order to be real. But ooh, it feels like unrequited love. When will you finally see, you who despise me, across the sea or right next door? 3/5 human or not even mentioned at all? Our deaths immortalized in your anthem as we spilled our blood around the world on your behalf. Democracy must be equal for all to survive. Happiness, liberty, life. Home and a country should leave us no more. Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps, pollution, and refuge could save the hireling or slave. the glue of the grave. On that day, January 6th, democracy was caught with Duke stand, cold cocked, bitch slapped, stung but not stymied, stunned but not silenced, dazed but not defeated. See, made it out alive that day, and his business continued. But now, with institutions sullied, your foundations faltering, your oath-sworn protectors swayed from your charge. Woo! Fear not, fear not, fear not, fear not, sweet democracy. For our strength, ancient and strong like spider silk, we will continue to hold you high, as we always have. You scarred and splintered banner, you. For despite how we hurt deep, we love you deeper still, and we will never let you fall. We will never let you down, and we will never let you break. Nah, man, never. Brave.
told you that Black Literature and Music incorporated universes, cosmologies, and we started on the planet Earth, but we done gone all around and circled the solar system and the galaxy. And we're coming near the end of our program, but we can't finish the galaxy without finishing, that poem. We only got a little bit ways to go of our found poem of Black literature, Poetry of Soul, Poems from Black America, Presence Africa, Primer for White Folks, Roots, Shadow Dreams, Sides of River, Soon One Morning, Soul Session, 360 Degrees of Blackness coming at you, 3,000 years of poetry. We be poeting, we speak as liberators, woke up this morning. Umbra, understanding, Yardbird reader, you better believe it. Now, as I said, we're coming to almost to the ends for some announcements. I'll have a reading at Collected Works this Thursday for the debut of my book at 6 o'clock at Collected Works. So you'll have to, if you get it, you'll get it then. I believe Jasmine will have some of her books for poetry for sale here, but for mine, you'll have to come to that event. We already have introduced our great percussionist, Fred Simpson, and our master guitar player, Stanley Key. We couldn't have done it without him, and y'all might recognize that person over there from someplace. Y'all might recognize. And to close out, since we've had so much joy and suffering, I wanted to close us out with a poem. Well, not quite close us out, come close to closing us out with a poem closer to the joy side. And it's a poem by Nikki Giovanni. She's still alive, but she's best known for her work in the 60s. And it's called Nika Rosa, because that was her nickname growing up. And so this is Nika Rosa by Nikki Giovanni. Childhood remembrances are always a drag if you're Black. You always remember things like living in Woodlawn with no toilet inside. And if you become famous or something, they never talk about how happy you were to have your mother all to yourself and how good the water felt when you got your bath from one of those big tubs that folks in Chicago barbecue in. And somehow, when you talk about home, it never gets across how much you understood their feelings as the whole family attended meetings about Hollydale. And even though you remember, your biographers never understand your father's pain as he sells his stock and another dream goes. And though you're poor, it isn't poverty that concerns you. And though they fought a lot, it isn't your father's drinking that makes any difference, but only that everybody is together and you and your sister have happy birthdays and very good Christmases. And I really hope no white person ever has cause to write about me, because they never understand Black love is Black wealth. And they'll probably talk about my hard childhood and never understand that all the while I was quite happy. Thank you. Thank Nikki Giovanni. Now, to complete my reincarnation as a minister, if you have a hymn book in front of you, take it out and open it up. I'm serious. What is all this dilly-dallying? And take it out. You're in church. And turn to page 339. And you should see the lyrics to Lift Every Voice. You're forgiven if you don't have a hymn book in front of you, but all of you who do should. And you should see the lyrics to Lift Every Voice and Sing by Negro National Anthem. Now Jasmine is going to take us out and end our program quite appropriately with Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Black National Anthem. If you know the words, please join me. Please stand and put your fist in the air in solidarity. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Come on, sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn has died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. Ashe, Akwe, Tabutne, and thank you. Thank you. And in closing, if you would like to take some of my words home with you, In Search of Ravens, Blood and Snow, and Scarred Splintered Banner are for sale. I will sign them for you. Thank you. God bless you. May the Great Spirit keep his arms around you. May grandfather's breath always surround you.
So our artists will be here not only for Jasmine to sell her books, but if you have questions for Daryl, they'll be around for a few moments. Thank you so much for coming.
What you say? Oh, well. Hey, Marguerite. Just a second. Sure.
Thank you so much. That was great.
Run something in your hey sir, I'll be right with you. Run something in your magazine if you want. There you go, Elizabeth. Thank you for coming.
I'll see you soon.
Yeah, that's right, and it's right on page 78, yeah. Well, you might get a different edition, but write this down. Shadow and X.